Hey everybody, it's Connor here. This video, to be honest, is going to be a little more off the cuff, shooting from the hip, just kind of speaking from the heart a little bit about something that I want to kind of give a warning to for the Punishing Gray Raven community. This idea kind of came out of recently seeing Tectone playing Punishing Gray Raven for the first time now with the release of the PC client of Punishing Gray Raven.
Oh my god. Who the f likes this character? I'm asking genuinely, bro.
I personally think it's really exciting seeing Tectone pick that up because I think what it means is we're going to see other content creators also give Punishing Gray Raven a try, especially in the wake of Wuthering Waves beta closing, and it's probably going to go dormant over the next little while. There is some other information that was dropped recently that I may make another video about where we kind of talk about some details that the devs have given us since the ending of that beta, but for now I want to turn my attention back to Punishing Gray Raven and what I wanted to talk to you all about today. As I said before, now that the beta is closed for Wuthering Waves, there has been a pretty decent uptick in interest of people wanting to try out Punishing Gray Raven for the first time. And especially with other content creators now giving it a shot, I think we're going to see an increase of players coming to NA in particular, as I think that's been one of the markets that's been lacking more so, especially from a content creator perspective. And I think we're going to see an uptick in people trying it, new content creators, new players in general, and really giving the game a shot. Personally, I'm really excited about that. Something that PGR gets ripped on for often is that PGR has never advertised itself very well, and that's pretty true. I mean, especially when you juxtapose it with Wuthering Waves and every single thing that they've been doing, how they've really been working on that drip marketing, you can see that there was a little bit of lacking for PGR, at least in NA. I'm not sure how it operates over in kind of Southeast Asia or the Japanese market or in mainland China itself, but at least in NA, it was never pushed very hard, which I think is still a little bit of a tragedy, but I digress. I just want to give a warning to the community to not be like other gaming communities. I know there's a small faction of people in PGR that can have what I would call an elitist mentality, where you want to kind of like protect and preserve your game for what it is. And while I think there is some good motivation within that in wanting to kind of protect a community or culture that's been brought up around it, I don't think it's an excuse to gate or prevent other people from trying it or playing the game for the first time. People in the Punishing Gray Raven community, at least that I've engaged with in the comments and other areas as well, are really hesitant about people who are from the big G, you know, that are from the Genshin community. And rightfully so. They are one of the most interesting fandoms around a game that I think has ever existed. And I think that's put a lot of other games and gaming communities on kind of the lookout for those kinds of people. And I understand there's been some crazy stuff that's come out of there. Crazy lynch mobs chasing after, you know, different content creators for saying names wrong or anything along that path. And it's been crazy to watch. And a lot of people, myself included, don't want to see that mentality brought over into other gaming spheres that we like. And I think that's something worth noting and protecting and focusing on and not creating that kind of community. So I'm not even totally, attacking that side of it, but I think I also want to look at more of the gameplay side of it. I often see critiques from people within the game kind of giving perspective of like, oh, you should never, build a team like that. You should never use those memories on a particular character because that's not the meta build. And there's a bit of an elitist mentality around how you need to build characters and how you need to play characters that I think can be a bit of a turnoff for new players. And I just want people just to dial that down a little bit during this time. If you're somebody who cares about this game and wants to care about the success of the game, having an elitist mentality to how people play and that they're playing the game wrong is not the right way to go about doing that. And so I just want to be on the lookout for those kind of things and encourage you guys to be on the lookout for those kind of things too, and that it's not worth it. It's just not worth fighting those kind of things. Like, I can give you a perfect example. I think often things that come up when you're building a character is looking at the weapon that you're going to be putting on the character. Obviously, you're always going to want a minimum 5-star weapon from just simply a stat perspective, like for sure. But I think oftentimes you don't have a 5-star weapon. Like I've been playing PGR for quite a few months now, and I still only have a few 5-star weapons and 1 or 2 6-star weapons that just came out of a lot of luck. And I still have people ripping on me for using 4-star weapons. Now, personally, I don't care. But I see in a lot of like tutorials and guides and stuff too, where people are talking about like builds where they're just like, oh, never use a 4-star weapon. Like you just can't even do it. And I just want to say, yeah, you can. Like if you don't have anything else, you got to use what you got. And that's fine. I just don't understand the mentality of attacking people for how they're choosing to play a game and that they choose to play it a little bit differently than you. I just wanted to do my part in bringing that up because I think the overall PGR community is in a pretty good spot overall, but it's a smaller community. And so as that expands, I could see that shifting, and I could see some of those little things getting a little bit worse. And I'm not going to claim to be the voice of the PGR community. There are a lot of people who understand the game better than I do, who've been playing the game a lot longer than I have. So I'm not trying to act as the ultimate authority on all of these things. I'm only speaking to what I can see and what I want or think the community should be encouraged to avoid. When I started playing PGR earlier this year, I was received with open arms, and honestly, it has been so much fun. I have had a lot of support from the community. I've met a lot of really cool people who've joined the Discord and gotten to know better. And I have zero regrets starting my YouTube channel with PGR, and I am so happy I did because it has been such a great beginning into my YouTube journey in this way. And I just want to make sure we maintain that. I think that reputation is really important to keep around a game. And I think we're seeing that in another example with Honkai Star Rail. A lot of people were really nervous with the launch of Honkai Star Rail that some of the usual suspects of the unfortunate sides of the Genshin community were going to make their way over to Honkai Star Rail and start commenting and pushing some really crazy ideas and things along. Like, again, I'm sorry, like the people who treat in-game characters as real people touch grass. That's crazy to me. And I know people were concerned though that the same thing was going to happen with Honkai Star Rail. That people were like, oh great, like I really hope they don't do that. And so far, it's been pretty good. And maybe, you know, I've heard somebody make the case that maybe it's because the people who were like that in Genshin have kind of grown up a little bit and are treating Honkai Star Rail a little bit differently. But maybe it's also a lot of those people didn't move away from it because they feel like they're cheating on their waifus. I don't know. Regardless, it seems that the Honkai Star Rail community has kind of broken away from that toxic part of the fandom. And I think Honkai Star Rail, amongst being a new gacha as well, it's also contributed to the success, and that there's a really cool community of people forming around it, content creators and players and people who engage with it as well. I'm not just speaking about content creators here. Like everybody who plays the game and engages with the community in some way is part of this. And I want to see that continue to thrive for PGR, especially because it's in a good time now. Because Wuthering Waves is going away, as I said at the beginning, PGR is going to have a big uptick in interest. I think, you know, it's some guessing here, but I would be shocked if it didn't have at least some kind of increase with Wuthering Waves not being able to be played anymore. And so that's all I want to stick to in all of this is just continue being the great community I know you guys can be. PGR will continue to get some of the success and recognition it deserves and continues to get. And also, let me be clear about it. I'm not getting all snowflakey with this and talking about how like, well, you can't be mean. Like you can't troll. You can't have fun. Like, no, look, my Discord is a great example of like us just like ripping on each other in good fun. And you know, we're just teasing each other a little bit, but we know we're all just trying to play the game and have a good time. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like the genuine trying to destroy somebody's experience because they're not using the same memories that you're using on your character. Like that's just crazy. Just don't do that. Don't be that kind of person and you're gonna be okay. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say in this video. A little bit more from the heart, you know, speaking about the community and the direction of the community and just doing my part to help encourage that in a good direction for the game, because I think at the end of the day, everybody who plays it, everybody who makes content around it and engages with this game wants it to succeed. And I think this is a good way to encourage that and to help it continue in that direction. But that's just my take. You know what? If you disagree with me, let me know. Throw it in the comments. I would love to hear if people think differently around the community and engaging with the community on that. I'm always open hearing other perspectives, but I think with where I stand right now, I just think that this is the best way forward. So all I would say is welcome content creators with open arms, welcome new players with open arms, and let's just have a lot of fun playing the game that we all like playing. That's all. Anyway, that's going to be it for this one, guys. Links in the description of this video. Come check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.